Hello, everybody. Welcome to quarter four, week two. And I want to introduce myself for those of you guys who do not know me and were recently added to this class. My name is Ms. Lewis, and I am your teacher for sixth grade language arts. So I would like to welcome all of our new students who were recently added to this class, and there are quite a few of you. And I would like to welcome those of you guys back who returned from DMJ, brick and mortar. And I would like to say thanks for those of you guys who are still hanging in here on e-learning, who have been with me for the last couple of 9 weeks. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I'm glad we get to finish out the year together. So we are nearing the end of the school year with about 7.5 weeks to go, and we have a lot of exciting and important things to accomplish that are coming up in the next few weeks. First of all, I want to make sure that you shared with your parent and guardian this first document in the week two folder. The week two folder is yellow, so you should see a yellow folder for the quarter four week two assignments for sixth grade language arts. The first thing is the FSA parent letter. That was published last week in updates and also in the week one folder. I put it again in the week two folder at the request of Mr. Jacob, who's our assistant principal. He was following that up with another contact with your parent, but this letter gives important dates about FSA testing for all subjects, not only this class. The first test that is coming up is next Tuesday, April 6th, and that is the FSA writing test for sixth graders for e-learners. God willing, I will be there giving that test. So I will be there next Tuesday at school administering that test for the sixth grade e-learners who are coming in to take it. So Mr. Sickerfus will be coordinating with you if you are planning on coming in and taking that. If you have any questions or concerns, you are directed to contact him about that, and that information is also in this letter right here. It gives you dates about other subjects as well, so please make sure that you share that with a parent or guardian in your household. And like I said, that was also published last week. All right, additionally, I need you to mark your calendar for next Wednesday, April 7th at 2 p.m. Next Wednesday, April 7th at 2 p.m., you have the unique opportunity to come on Teams and listen to a presentation from a Holocaust survivor. I'm actually doing this with my 7th and 8th grade classes, and I have decided to go ahead and invite you guys, my 6th grade class, along with your family members if they would like to attend with you. So any household members who are free and available are welcome to join with you to watch this presentation. Along with the Jewish Federation, they have secured a Holocaust survivor to come and speak with my students on Teams, so it's all going to be done through Teams. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because these Holocaust survivors are probably now in their 80s. And the Holocaust is something that is actually mandated through the state of Florida that we teach, but we actually don't start teaching it until 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and then throughout high school. So I wanted to include you guys because my 7th and 8th graders on Teams are actually going to be a part of this. You will start learning about this, like I said, next year, and then again in 8th grade. A link to join Teams will be published on April 7th. And then at 2 p.m., or actually before 2 p.m., you can log on, you will mute your microphone, and then you can listen to the presentation. You are not required to participate, but there will be a question and answer session at the end. So if you would like to ask a question at the end, you can. And then in order to get extra credit, at the end of the presentation, I will publish on updates like a 3-question reflection that you'd have to complete and submit in order to earn extra credit. But just for the very sake of the experience itself, I strongly encourage you just to come and join. on April 7th. It should last 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long the speaker goes and depending on how many questions there are. All right, this one other thing before we get to the work. Don't forget to go back into the submission activity section for this class for each assignment to see and make sure that your assignments were submitted. Some of you guys are accidentally submitting blank assignments, and then I'm writing comments saying, please resubmit that assignment with answers on them. I'm also giving you feedback and asking you to redo assignments, or maybe telling you to correct assignments, or giving you feedback that some assignments are incorrectly done and can be resubmitted for more credit. And some of you never go back and look at that. So I want to remind you and remind all of our new students that it's up to you to go back to each of your assignments and double check to, one, make sure that they went through and they went through correctly, and two, to read those comments in case your teacher gives you the opportunity to go back and resubmit for more credit. This is a 4-day week. Friday is a holiday. Friday is considered, it's called Good Friday. And so there is no school for Manatee County Schools. So this is a 4-day week. Because of that, we're actually going to have 3 assignments. We're not going to have a reading assignment. So we're not going to be doing our class novel called A Long Walk to Water. If you just joined this class, we have been reading a book called A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. We're going to skip that this week because we're going to focus mainly on writing due to the writing test next week, and just the simple fact that all of you need to learn how to write and write well, regardless of which school you attend next year. But going into 7th grade and going into any class, any subject, good writing skills are good writing skills, and you need to have them. So our last essay of the year is this argumentative essay, and that will be our focus this week. You will be writing an introductory paragraph for this argumentative essay for assignment number 1. You'll be writing 2 body paragraphs and a counterclaim and rebuttal paragraph. I'll go through that in just a second. And lastly, you'll be writing a conclusion paragraph. So this week's work is all about writing, and this is your argumentative essay. Now, this is a draft, so I will be giving you feedback on each of these 3 parts. I will give you a chance to edit, and then next week you'll be editing and revising and turning in a final copy for a grade. So don't think when you turn this in that this is it forever and what you get is what you get, because next week you'll be able to polish it and turn it in for a final copy grade, or final copy scores. So this is just basically a draft. That doesn't mean that you can hurry up and scratch something down and not do a good job, because the better job you do now, the less work you'll have to do later, which is next week. So again, one thing too, you do have 1 extra credit assignment this week. There is actually an extra credit, opportunity, and for those of you guys who are new, you have to earn extra credit in this class whenever it's offered. And it's offered about every other week. And I do it like this. I give you extra credit stories and articles to read, and then you will take a quiz on it. So this is a story this week that you have to read. We read the direction page, just the stories attached to this page, and then you'll take the quiz, on that story. You get 1 point for every correct answer on that quiz. So that's this week. So let's talk about the writing that you have this week. And then there actually are 2 live lessons as well, one on Tuesday at 11, one on Thursday at 11. Links for those live lessons are posted right here in updates. And I post those links the morning of the live lesson. So you should see those links usually around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. You click on that link and you join Teams, and then I usually go over what we're doing that week. So I teach more things about the argumentative essay and a little bit more in depth about that. You can earn extra credit for attending those as well. So extra credit is earned a little bit at a time, week by week. There are no huge extra credit assignments given at the end of the quarter, so you have to take it when it's offered. All right, let's talk about the assignments this week. The first one is the introduction paragraph for the argumentative essay. And if you remember last week, we started this argumentative essay. The purpose of an argumentative essay is to make the reader believe something or to take your side. Your side is the claim. So your position is the claim. It's found at the end of your introductory paragraph, and it's also your thesis. So your thesis statement where you're clearly stating your position, which is your claim on the issue, and you have to go one way or the other, and 2 reasons why you feel the way you do, which has to be based on information from the sources provided. This particular essay actually gave you 3 sources. So there were 3 sources provided on this. The prompt was to write to argue whether or not it's acceptable for companies to advertise in schools. And it says in the prompt, your essay has to be based on ideas and information that can be found in the passage set, which are the sources. For this first assignment, you're only going to be writing the introduction. Now, when I was grading the assignments last week, many of you, all you had to do for that assignment on the thesis with the claim is to identify the claim for each of those articles. And those claims that many of you identify were all over the place. And the claim you had to identify was the claim that that was the author's claim. What was their position? What were they trying to say? Once you identify that, then you were writing your thesis or your claim. Now, yours is going to be very simple. You take the prompt and you reword it. So yours is going to look like this. Companies should or should not, one or the other, you pick. So you're either going to say companies should have access to schools to advertise because blank and blank, or you're going to say companies should not have access to schools to advertise because blank and blank. This blank, filling in the blanks, those 2 blanks, have to come from these sources. And these are the 3 sources that are attached below at the bottom. Now, here's how you're going to write your intro. There's a PowerPoint attached to this, and the directions say, open the PowerPoint, Introduction PowerPoint for Ads in Schools Argument Essay 6th grade. Read through every slide. Do not, believe me when I tell you, do not attempt to write that introduction without reviewing the PowerPoint, because this PowerPoint goes through piece by piece of what your introduction must have. It also gives you an example of an introduction. Okay, and if you look at that, then that model of an introduction, then you say, okay, mine needs to look like this, and this is what I have to have. Then you're going to go back to those sources, and these are the sources attached. And you're going to write your introduction. But you can't have any of that if you don't have a thesis, okay, or a claim, and the claim is your position. So how do you feel? Do you think the companies should or should not have access to schools to advertise? And what are the 2 reasons why? Those 2 reasons have to come from those sources. So that's the first step. Then you're going to write your introduction. How long should your introduction be? An introduction is 5 to 7 sentences, no longer. No longer than that. And then save that. You're going to type it in a Word document. You can type it in the text box. You can even write it on paper if you choose. And then you're going to upload it to this assignment. This is worth 10 points, and it is graded as follows. Okay. So 2 points if it's 5 to 6 sentences. You can make it 7, but it shouldn't be more than that. Contains an effective hook or grabber that captures the reader's attention. Contains at least a 2-sentence bridge or background sentence about the topic. Don't ever assume that the reader understands your topic. Give them some information about the topic, which in this case would be companies wanting to advertise in schools. Then contains your thesis statement that rewords the prompt and clearly states your position on the issue. Now I gave you that. All you have to do is fill in the blanks, pick the should or should not, and fill in the 2 reasons why. Then, what else did I say? Right here. All right. Conventions, spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and grammar. Also, no I's. There should be no I. I think, I feel, no I in essays. So there should be no pronoun I anywhere in this essay. This is worth a total of 10 points. You will submit that, and this is assignment number 1. Check for feedback, because if I give you feedback on this, you may have to make some corrections, okay? Next, assignment number 2. This is where the work comes in for any essay, and also for this assignment. So for this one, you're going to be writing your body paragraphs. This is the meat. This is the substance of your essay and your argument. This is where the proof comes in. So you're going to actually be writing 3, and you're going to say to me, actually that should say number 3, not 2 right there. You're going to say 3 by 3. We've only ever had 2, okay? It's 3 in an argumentative essay. So like I said, I have to make that a number 3, not a 2. It's always 3 in an argumentative essay, because an argumentative essay has 1 more paragraph that an informative doesn't. We'll get to that in just a second. So 2 body paragraphs. We're used to doing that with a reason 1 and a reason 2. But on our 3rd one, we need something called a counterclaim and rebuttal. The rebuttal is a little advanced, but you guys can do it. But let me tell you what a counterclaim is. A counterclaim paragraph in an argumentative essay is when you address the other side. So you have your argument, you have your side and your reasons. You need 1 short paragraph after you've laid out your argument, which is body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. You need 1 short paragraph in which you acknowledge the other side. That's called the counterclaim. So counter means against, so the side that goes against your side. You can use words like, while there are those who feel that companies should be allowed to advertise in schools because, and then you can give their reason, all right? So you have to acknowledge the other side. That's called a counterclaim. And you can't have an argumentative essay without doing that. So you want to mention the other side. The rebuttal then is your comeback to the other side. So you say, while there are those who feel that companies should be allowed to advertise in schools because of, and then you could give 1 reason why. You could say, that should not be allowed because, and then come back with a good reason why they shouldn't. And then that's strengthening your argument, and then back it up with a piece of evidence. Now, what you don't want to do here is to repeat evidence or repeat a reason. So hold a reason back that you can use in your counterclaim and rebuttal paragraph, and back it up with a piece of evidence. The good news for this paragraph is it doesn't have to be as long as your 2 body paragraphs, but it has to be there, and it has to come right before that conclusion paragraph. So for this assignment, here's what you're going to do. You will open the PowerPoint called Body Paragraphs PowerPoint. And I know you're going to get tired of looking at these PowerPoints, but they are extremely informative. And each of these, it has an example paragraph as to what you need to do when you write your own. That does not mean you can copy them. It means you look at them, you read the directions, you look at them, and you say, okay, that's a good model. It shows me what the expectation is and what I need to do. All right, so there is a PowerPoint below, and where is it? On building. All right, so I have a PowerPoint in here. I have a counterclaim and rebuttal. And then, so there's also a counterclaim and rebuttal 1. And then I have the sources attached for you. I have a list of transitions attached for you as well. So this is going to be 3 paragraphs, okay? 3 paragraphs for this assignment, 2 body paragraphs, and 1 counterclaim with rebuttal paragraph. So 2 longer ones, 1 shorter one. This can be done on the same exact document that you did your intro, but you'll just save it and submit it again for this assignment. All right, so that's assignment number 2. All right, let's go back if we can to assignment number 3. You can imagine what that is, and that's your conclusion. All right, so the conclusion paragraph for this argumentative essay is your last and final paragraph. For this one, I have another PowerPoint, and I'm going to tell you the same thing again. Do not attempt to write it without viewing it. And I not only attached one, I attached 2 PowerPoints to this, 2 different ones on conclusions, so that you could see 2 different ways to do conclusions, okay, for an essay. Pick the one that actually works for you. And then what I want you guys to do is write your conclusion. Now, your conclusion is one of the shorter paragraphs as well. That's a good 4 to 6 sentences, okay? 4 to 6 sentences, and that has to reinforce your thesis statement, but you don't want to repeat it. So you have to kind of reinforce what you're trying to say. You want to end, okay, leaving an impression for the reader, and then like a good impression. And that essay needs to feel finished. That essay, they use actually the language, must have a satisfying conclusion. So make sure, however you end it, that's a satisfying conclusion. And one thing we don't want to do is say, I hope you liked my essay, the end. So there's no I in essay. The pronoun I does not belong in a formal essay like this. So one of the ways too that we talk about is whatever we used in our intro, we could take something from that intro and pull that down to our conclusion. Our conclusion paragraph expectation length for that, 4 to 6 sentences, 5 to 7 also is usually good. But 4 to 6 is usually the range. If you come in the 5 to 6-ish, you've done your job. But it has to feel finished when you get to the end. And using the end is not going to do the job for that. So that is it for that. Make sure you use a transition. And in conclusion is not the strongest transition, but something like all in all, to conclude, or in summary. I've attached a list of transitions to this assignment for you. You'll see those when you scroll down to the bottom of this. Then in your folder, like I said, there's extra credits for you, an extra credit opportunity. The very last few things you're going to see are writing resources. These are not assignments. These are just some things to look at. Some of you guys have asked me for some things just to kind of look at and help you prepare for the FSA. For those of you guys who are planning on taking it, this is the Citing Textual Evidence handout. This is an FSA Rights cheat sheet. Now, this is not really a cheat sheet, I promise you that. Let me show you what this is. This will help all of you as writers, but the trick to this is you have to download it, because in Schoology, things get distorted. So if you push this little arrow right here that says download, and then it comes up as a Word document below like this, and it comes up like this. Enable editing just allows you to edit it. You don't need to do that. But this is good for you just as just a writer. The FSA Rights cheat sheet just puts everything on one page. So it kind of tells you, like for your intro, you need a hook, background info, claim, and reasons. Body paragraphs, 3 total. This is good for your, sometimes we can use 2 body paragraphs, 2. For our argumentative essay, we would use 3. Conclusion, transition into conclusion, restate your claim and reasons, and a conclusion technique. That's perfect. You get sentence starters for your evidence, sentence starters for explanations, conclusion techniques. So this is great no matter what. This will also help you for FSA rights. So I love this, and I put this on here for you guys. This is something good just to print and keep next to you when you are writing. Okay? But like I said, download it first because it's going to show up kind of wacky like that in Schoology if you don't. And then this one is called How to Write a Winner. And just some tips for you that I wrote and that I've been using. And just some like last minute kind of things, what to do, okay? And there's 16 little tips. So sweet 16 tips right here. Take a look at those, read those over. That might help you. Last but not least, from the company that actually did the Q1 writing assessment, they gave you test taking tips for the FSA writing test. You can take a look at those. I'll put some more out next week on Monday in the week 3 folder, but those are just a few resources for you. So that is it for the week. It's all writing. It's the argumentative essay writing draft. Next week, you will just have to polish it up and turn in a final copy. There will not be any more writing other than proofreading, editing, revising, turning it in as a final copy because next week, for those of you guys going into school, you'll actually be writing it on the 6th. So I hope to see you guys at the live lessons if you're coming on Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. If not, if you look at the teacher instructional video script, I've given information on how to contact me. You can do it by messaging on Schoology. You can email me. My email address is in there. You can call me or you can text me on my Google Voice number. If you need an individual meeting or phone call, and you need help with an assignment, I am more than willing to help you. All you have to do is ask. So I'm just a phone call, a text, or an email away. Have a great week, everyone. It's a 4-day week, so you have until those Sunday night, April 4th, to get your work in by 11:59 p.m. I look forward to reading your writing and giving you feedback on it. So have a great week, everyone, and I will see you in the live lessons. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.